Hello, this presentation by Anita Singh, Christina Rickert, and Kurt McCluskey will attempt to highlight the economic events leading up to, possible causes of, and outcomes of the 1990 to 91 U.S. recession. First, we will highlight some of the economic events leading up to the recession. The baby boomers began buying and building houses and business rapidly around the mid-1970s. The 1981 to 82 recession held back the spending for a little while, but eventually just acted as a springboard into a booming housing market and economy. The 1980s saw the U.S. in the throes of the largest economic expansion to ever occur in peacetime. Real GDP was growing at 3.3% annually, and inflation was rising. The Fed responded to rising inflation in 1986 by increasing interest rates. The Tax Reform Act of 1986 made major changes in how income was taxed. The Tax Reform Act altered or eliminated many deductions, changed the income tax rates to 15 and 28% with a 33% income tax rate for the upper middle class, and no longer allowed passive income to be deducted from active income, but did allow passive income to be carried forward. The Tax Reform Act also eliminated the ability to deduct non-mortgage interest and increased taxes on businesses while reducing depreciation allowances. By 1989, half of the savings and loans institutions had failed, and the fund created to insure savings and loans institutions was bankrupt. This failure had an estimated cost of $153 billion. Causes of the failure include a lack of oversight, mismanagement, fraud, and a decrease in borrowing and spending resulting from the 1986 Tax Reform Act. Possible causes of the 1990 to 91 U.S. recession include changes in monetary policy, a downturn in the housing market, and Iraq's 1990 invasion of Kuwait, which led to a spike in oil prices. The Federal Reserve's decision to increase interest rates in order to slow inflation was one major contributor to the recession. This action had the desired effect, but was unfortunately put in place at a time when many other factors accelerated its effect. Of course, the desired effect that was realized was a decrease in aggregate spending because of the increased expenses associated with borrowing. Along with increased interest rates, a slump in the housing market also occurred mainly because the baby boomers had essentially already purchased their homes and businesses, and the preceding generation was not as large. Lastly, Iraq invaded Kuwait in 1990, sparking the Gulf War, increasing oil prices, and decreasing consumer confidence in these prices. In summary, causes of the 1990 to 91 U.S. recession include a weak economy due to restrictive monetary policy, the impact of the Tax Reform Act of 1986 on businesses and jobs, the heavy consumer debt load from the 1980s, and the effect of the Gulf War on prices and consumer confidence. The economic events leading up to the recession were very complex and hard to address. The actions of the Fed to control the economy are at best very calculated guesses. In the end, the state of the economy depends on the many times unpredictable actions of the people. The fiscal and monetary authorities responded to the recession by increasing unemployment insurance benefits and lowering interest rates. President Bush resisted using fiscal policy changes to stimulate the economy, while Fed Chairman Alan Greenspan secured his reputation as a significant chairman by lowering interest rates several times. The results of the fiscal and monetary authority's response to the recession included somewhat low but very stable inflation, as well as stable unemployment and growth rates throughout the 1990s. Following the 1990-91 recession, the 1990s were a great time to be involved in the stock market. Returns were high and volatility was low. Interest rates were low, but the Fed took a more aggressive approach to adjusting rates in order to prevent spiraling inflation. In closing, one interesting viewpoint of the effectiveness of the fiscal and monetary response to the 1991 recession says that the magnificent recovery was merely luck resulting from large advancements in computer technology. Thank you for viewing this presentation.